Next in the list are the yum and the apt modules. We have already looked at the app module in our previous demos, when we used it to install various packages and update our packages. We installed Nginx and Apache and Nmap using the apt module. If you are using a Debian-based Linux distribution, then you need to use the apt module. But if you are using Red Hat OS-based systems, then you will use the yum module. The functionality provided by both of these modules is almost identical. They even take similar arguments. We have also discussed the service module in our previous demos. The service module is used to start or stop services. It helps us carry out common service-related operations. And we have also seen the copy module, which is used to copy the files from the source to destination. The destination is the remote host, and the source generally is located on the current host. Now we will go through the user module. Let's go to the terminal window and understand how we can use the user module. Let's switch to the terminal window and review the documentation for the user module. Execute Ansible-doc user. Okay, so this module is used to manage users. The mandatory argument it needs is name. So using this module, we can create users, delete users, add users to a group, set the shell, and set the home folder, show the user ID, etc. Here is an example for creating a user. User is the module name and name equals John D, comment equals John Doe. These are the arguments. Here this command is adding a user, John D, with a specific UID and a primary group of admin. Let's see this user module in action now. We will attempt to create a new user called TetraCloud in our Node01 host. Let's execute Ansible Node01 -m user -a inverted commas user equals TetraCloud inverted commas. Here the module name is user. Then -a has the arguments which the user module expects. And we got an error. Since we are trying to run this command as a normal user, we got this error. Let's elevate our privileges and try again. You may recall we need to add -b option to elevate our privileges. Let's try again. Ansible Node01 -m user -a inverted commas user equals TetraCloud inverted commas -b. Okay, great. Now it shows a success message, which means our new user has been created on Node01. Let's SSH into Node01 and verify it. Execute SSH Ubuntu at Node01. Now we are connected to our Node01. Let's grep the /etc/passwd file for Tetra. Execute cat/etc/passwd pipe and grep for Tetra. Okay, so here is the user account we just created with the user module. The new user has been assigned a home folder as well. Great, so that is how we can use the user module to manage our users and groups. Now let's move on to the command module. Okay, here we are back in our terminal window. Let's review the documentation for the command module. Execute ansible-doc command. As per the documentation, the command module executes a command on all the selected nodes. So basically, it can be used to run shell commands. This module can take in the name of the command and specified arguments for the command and run it on the target hosts. There are a few modules in the Ansible library which can perform similar operations. First one is the shell module, which can execute a shell command and performs shell-related operations. And the next module is called raw. The raw module will execute whatever we specify as our command on the terminal and will return us the output. The command module actually does the same, but in a slightly different manner. When we look at the documentation, it says that we have to give it the command name and the list of arguments. Whereas with the shell module, you may use it slightly differently. You may have to input the arguments differently. Here, this command module's documentation also states that the commands will not be processed through the shell, which means we won't have access to any of our environment variables on the target node while we are executing these commands. If we do need access to the environment variables, then we will opt for the shell module instead of the command module. Now we have gone through some of the common Ansible modules. As we discussed earlier, there are literally hundreds of modules available in the Ansible module library. It is almost impossible to remember each and every module and their respective arguments. So in this case, searching the Ansible docs is always very helpful in finding exactly what we are looking for. Along with the details of the module, the arguments, generally the documentation pages also provide very relevant examples with explanations of what is going on. As you write more Ansible playbooks, you will get familiar with many modules, and you will also explore more modules and discover some gems which will make automating and managing your infrastructure easier and easier over time.